What's good, everybody? I'm Johnny Danger, and today I'm going to be ranking all 9 Mötley Crüe studio albums. So let's get started. Mötley Crüe is a band that's near and dear to my heart. They're at the forefront of the glam metal scene in the early 80s in Los Angeles. Their debut album came out on Leather Records, which was an independent release. It was in 1981, Too Fast for Love. And they've been kicking ass and taking names ever since. So let's start with number 9, Generation Swine from 1997. This is their first record with Vince Neil back in the fold. He took a brief hiatus in the mid 90s, and then the band brought him back when they realized that their audience really missed Vince. For all of his weaknesses as a singer and whatever personality clashes they had, there's nobody like Vince fronting Mötley Crüe. It's just the way it is. But this return was pretty inconsistent, in my opinion. It's definitely an album of its time. In 1997, it was sort of coming after the wave of grunge, and the early to mid 90s saw a shift towards, the next millennium, which was dominated by boy bands and solo pop artists and new metal bands. So Mötley Crüe kind of had an identity crisis, and it shows on this record. It's cool that they're trying something different here. It's not all horrible. There's a couple of standouts on here, like Confessions. The actual song Generation Swine has some amazing guitar work from Mick Mars, and the drums in that song are insane. So there are some standouts, but it's just sort of a weird sounding record. It did go gold, but again, something has to come in 9th, and this is deserving of that spot. Coming in at number 8 is New Tattoo from the year 2000. This was their first and only record without Tommy Lee playing drums. They brought in Vinny Castillo, who formerly played with Ozzy Osbourne. This record, again, like Generation Swine, isn't all horrible. Hell in High Heels, the opening track, is pretty cool. She Needs Rock and Roll is a little corny, but man, is that a catchy song. Great melodies, awesome chorus, and again, standout guitar work from Mick Mars per usual. So New Tattoo at number 8. Coming at number 7 is the 1994 release self-titled Mötley Crüe. This was their first and only record without Vince Neil as their lead singer. They brought in John Corabi from the band Scream. Very capable singer, excellent musician, songwriter. His vocals are outstanding, to be quite honest, on this record. It went gold. So I think there was a lot of curiosity around what they would sound like without Vince. They sounded great. The only problem for Mötley Crüe fans is it sounded nothing like Mötley Crüe. The song Misunderstood is, without question, one of the most overlooked and underrated Mötley Crüe songs they've ever recorded. It's really mature, borderline progressive. Check it out. If you haven't heard it before, or it's been a while since you've listened to that, check out the track Misunderstood. You won't be disappointed. At number 6, Theater of Pain from 1985. This record went 4 times platinum, features tracks like Smoking in the Boys' Room, Home Sweet Home, which is one of the most popular rock and roll ballads from that period of time, or of any time, to be quite honest. Great song, decent album. You could tell they were living the life of excess, and they sang about it. They lived it. It was, not an act from all accounts. They really were, living life on the edge, and it it definitely shows on this record in particular. Um, it just feels like it was powered by cocaine. Tonight We Need a Lover, Louder Than Hell, Keep Your Eye on the Money. Good, solid meat and potatoes, hard rock, glam metal, Theater of Pain. Coming in at number 5 from 2008, Saints of Los Angeles. This album went gold. It was very well produced, very well performed record. Face Down in the Dirt, Down at the Whiskey, and the title track, Saints of Los Angeles. Outstanding. Really a good listen all the way through. This is a rock solid record. And unfortunately, this might be the last full length studio album we get from Mötley Crüe. But if it is, they went out with a bang on this one. It's something to be proud of and deserves the 5th spot for sure. Coming in at number 4, Girls, Girls, Girls from 1987. This album went 4 times platinum and features the smash hits Girls, Girls, Girls and Wild Side. This is an outstanding record from start to finish. It just has a real sexy, sort of sleazy underbelly of LA kind of feel. I don't know. It just runs from start to finish throughout this whole record. This kind of speaks for itself. Girls, Girls, Girls. Coming in at number 3 from 1989, their highest charting album of all time, Dr. Feelgood. They went to Vancouver to record with Bob Rock, and they were sober at the time, focused. Famously, Nikki Sixx almost died prior to making this record, and that's chronicled in the single Kickstart My Heart. The ballad Without You was a high charting single, and Dr. Feelgood, the title track, is just a banger through and through. This album's got a really cohesive sound and feel to it. The production's awesome. There's just a few kind of throw in looser tracks that prevents it from the top 2 spots, but definitely one of the great albums from that period of time, Dr. Feelgood. Amazing artwork too, just a feel and a vibe around this release that was just huge when it came out. But Mötley Crüe was on top of the world after the release of this album. Might very well put them in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So number 3, Dr. Feelgood. Coming in at number 2 from 1981, their debut, Too Fast for Love. This record went platinum, and it's just got the grittiest, most unique sound of any Mötley Crüe record. It's super raw. You can just hear the energy and the youthfulness. Too Fast for Love, the title track. Live Wire, one of the most incredible guitar riffs of all time. Piece of Your Action, Public Enemy number 1, Come On and Dance. Just a great record from start to finish, and really, it's catching Mötley Crüe at the very genesis of their historic career. So, yeah, check that one out if you haven't in a while. Too Fast for Love, the debut from Mötley Crüe. And at number 1 comes as no surprise from 1983. Shout, shout, shout at the devil. This record went 4 times platinum, features the title track, Shout at the Devil, Looks That Kill, Red Hot, Helter Skelter, Too Young to Fall in Love. I mean, this album is a classic, and they really made an announcement with this record that they were at the top of the mountain, and it would take a lot to knock them off. Things were very competitive back then. Bands seemed like they were trying to outdo each other with their stage show and their outfits and their makeup and who could be the most outrageous and get the most attention. They're all competing for for the audience back then, and it wasn't on social media. It was just getting bodies into their building that they were playing and to their shows, and they did it just about as good as anyone else at that time. And this record is the pinnacle of their careers. To be quite honest, it's just a classic through and through. It's what most would consider Master of Puppets would be to Metallica. Shout at the Devil is to Mötley Crüe. So there you go. At number 9, Generation Swine. At number 8, New Tattoo. At number 7, Mötley Crüe. At number 6, Theater of Pain. At number 5, Saints of Los Angeles. At number 4, Girls, Girls, Girls. At number 3, Dr. Feelgood. At number 2, Too Fast for Love. And at number 1, Shout at the Devil. So there you have it. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. If your rankings are different than mine, which they probably are, that's A-okay. You know, we all have opinions, just like you know what. So thanks again for watching. Cheers.